In its latest earnings release, Mastercard banned the purchase of marijuana on its debit cards. Now, MoffettNathanson's Lisa Ellis tells us the move won't make too much of a dent in Mastercard's bottom line. But our next guest says banking and access to capital is critical to cannabis companies. Here for more is Kevin Hart, founder and CEO of GreenCheck, a company helping more than 130 financial institutions navigate the cannabis space. Kevin, welcome.
Good afternoon, Kelly. Thank you for having me.
Is it getting harder? I mean, why this sudden kind of turn of fortunes?
Well, I think really, MasterCard and Visa has done this previously where they just looked at the volume of transactions in certain pockets of those transactions, and there is no merchant category code available for cannabis, and they discover it and they decide, okay, that's enough. We're gonna contact the banks and the providers and tell them they have to shut these programs down. It's happened before. It'll happen again.
So the larger question is, I mean, were people expecting that by now we'd have kind of a federal move to legalize cannabis, perhaps under the Biden administration, and that's just not panning out?
Well, there have been a lot of expectations. I think, what has it gone through the House 7 or 8 times and always has gotten stalled out in the Senate. And there are constant debates, and there's significant amount of lobby dollars that go after this in the descheduling of cannabis as well. To get Safe Banking Act passed. But Safe Banking Act in and of itself is not going to be the silver bullet or the single answer that a lot of people think it should be, even when it passes.
So where we're showing the map actually right now, how many parts of the country is cannabis legal? Where is it illegal? And what does that mean for firms who are trying to do business?
Well, I mean, the state guidelines are pretty clear as to what type of products you can sell. It's federally illegal across the country, but there are 38 different state programs that are out there for medicinal and or adult use combination programs. And then you have the CBD and the hemp markets. So it's a big industry, and there'll be more states coming online just this next month and in the ballot sessions in November.
Will there, though? This feels like the kind of moment where we've seen a reversal of the kind of, unrelenting progress of a lot of social movements, whether it's abortion or other controversial issues, where they're now being rolled back. I mean, would you put cannabis in that territory of something where, it's just explain what you think kind of the grassroots is, or is it just not as good of a business? I've read plenty of stories saying, black market pot is still as popular as ever, and a lot of mainstream cannabis products just haven't really cracked with the consumer yet.
I don't think it gets rolled back, and primarily because you hear the stories of the things that aren't going well, but there are thousands of stories where businesses are being run properly and within the state guidelines for the programs. Also, you have to remember, and this is a big part of what Safe Banking Act will be in descheduling, et cetera, the amount of tax dollars that the states are picking up through these programs is significant. And cannabis is now bigger than alcohol sales tax revenue collected in certain states. And so I don't think any state's going to back down from that. And the federal government is going to want their piece of the pie once they decide what they want to do. And
so would you describe yourself as a fintech? What is it that your firm helps clients do?
Oh, yeah, we're 100% a fintech. So we sit in the middle, web-based platform that connects financial institutions and services providers to the cannabis businesses. We have over 7,000 cannabis businesses on the platform to 140 different financial institutions, banks, and credit unions. And we processed over $750 million in deposits last month.
You're not worried about going out of business?
No, we are not worried about going out of business. The cannabis industry is still growing, and the real challenge and the future opportunity, that the way we've always seen this and we predicted, is when you have interstate and international commerce, it's going to become even more complicated as a fintech for the rules and regulations, how financial institutions are knowing they're letting good money in and keeping all the bad money out to the illicit market that you referenced.
All right, Kevin Hart. And not that Kevin Hart. Thank you so much for joining us.
I get those phone calls.